a tariff set by the Electricity Regulatory Authority.
A very good evening and a warm welcome to our second edition of UBC News Tonight on the 7th day of October 2022. Now, before we delve into tonight's news bulletin, let's first take a look at the top stories of the night. And in our top stories tonight, President Museveni launches leather processing factory in Kawumu, Luwero. Government to streamline the housing sector as World celebrates World Habitat Day. And Kalaki District Engineer in hot soup over 350 million Uganda shillings in corruption scandal. Good evening once again and welcome to a second edition of UBC News Tonight. I am Loreen Masika Kazimoto. Now we start off with our first headlining story this evening. President Yoweri Museveni has extended the gospel of import substitution and export promotion to the people of Uganda to promote development and create wealth. Museveni, who decries continuous importation of goods, says his next emphasis is on paper manufacturing, urging Ugandans to embrace production for commercial purposes. Now, the head of state was speaking during the launch of Kawumu Tannery, a leather manufacturing hub that is currently employing hundreds of Ugandans in Luwero.
It has employed many and is projected to employ more if plans by the masterminds are anything to go by. Touring through activities at the Kawumu Tannery located next to the presidential demonstration farm. Work here is done in phases. From receiving of skin, separating hides, and drying them for ready raw material in the market. Summarizes activities done here.
The first phase, we apply sodium sulfate, we apply lime, we apply wetting agent, we apply degreasing agent. All those chemicals are for removing hair from the heads.
It is an undertaking that area leaders appreciate with the hope for improvement of youth and women welfare.
We think that this will help in skilling the youths and the young mothers, call them women, because in Luwero we were hit with high rates of teenage pregnancies during COVID.
To appreciate this progress was President Yoweri Museveni. Shortly after launching the leather factory, Museveni dared the rain to see for himself what was happening. When the factory tour ended, it was time to share experience.
Unze kugenda kuzimba wane ekolero lino nali tandise okusomesa abaana okukola engatto Kampala ne Nakyobe. Naye bwe bamala okusoma ekizibu kyali nti leather yali yakusaka okugisaka wa Kenya, China. Omuchina ebintu abimanya atya okusinga omulalo wano w'omulukola wano yasalwa mu nti kati nengamba nti tulina okukomya ekigambo ky'okusaka leather.
In agreement with State House Controller Jane Bariche, Museveni saw this as an opportunity for job creation.
In 2 months' time, Your Excellency, we have employed 90 workers at Kawumu factory. And of these 90 workers, 60 are permanent. They are permanent employees. They are earning a living from your factory, Your Excellency. 40 employees are casuals, and those ones basically are from this community, Your Excellency.
Tuyise mu kkolero emirimu egiri awo waliwo owokunaaza ediba ogw'omulimu, ne wabawo owokuliisa mu kyuma ogw'omulimu. Egyo emirimu gyonna kati egiri wano emirimu 9 yandibadde yaba Italy si yaffe abafa ab'e Kawumu.
This has implied a reduction in importation of leather raw materials. This has made actual the idea of import substitution, which State Minister for Trade David Bahati described as action for progress.
In 1986, there were few products that we were producing here, but I'm proud to say now that we have resolved and soon will be publishing under your guidance the things that we've been able to replace since 1986. For example, we can now no longer import cement in our country.
Oli aguze edibe yagenda kuwa katono sente ntono wano mu Uganda. Yagende alongose ediba ayongere mu sente ate ediba alijje mwengato ezinamwa sente ate zisingako ogenda kwesanga nti gwe wano wafuna katono omudiba lyo lyentezo naye oli itale wawa afunye kinene kuva mudiba lya ende.
With the war on leather importation nearly dealt a blow, Museveni's next fight is against importation of paper products.
Ngenda kubayigiriza okulima amabanda kubanga getwetaaga okukola empapula. Ezo empapula nazo zifuuse ekizibu. Abafrika tebalina mpapula bali awo balinze kusaka China. Buli kantu kona China enviiri China z'abafu sizabantu balamu. Njagala ko mwebale abekawumu okwaniriza factory eno n'okugiwagira.
Kaumu Tannery is a leather raw material processing factory seated on 10 acres of land. The 12 billion shilling initiative officially started operations 2 months ago, with projected expansion by 10 more acres of land for leather product processing and manufacturing. Henry Okrut, UBC.
Now, as Uganda marks 60 years of independence, focus has been put on the education sector and building a strong economy to improve livelihoods of Ugandans. During the political dialogue held at Uganda Museum, the panelists emphasized the need for unity, redefining the democratic dispensation, and the need to have political tolerance.
This panel discussion. Excuse me.
Uganda Museum is holding a series of events including political dialogues to celebrate Uganda's independence. Friday presentation centered on offsprings of different political figures whose fathers played a significant role in the political space of Uganda.
Look at where we are in context of what were the dreams at independence. And the dreams at independence largely consisted of Ugandans running their own affairs, but getting an economy which works for the citizens of Uganda. Now, there are still elements of that which need to be addressed. We do not control per se much of what we should be in control of, and that one reflects on the quality of life which people are living. So at 60, it's important to reflect what have we achieved, where do we hope to go, and put it in that context and see where would we want to be in the next milestone. What do we need to prioritize in order to be able to get there?
Othman Mayanja, the son of the late Abu Mayanja, highlighted on the need to redefine the country's political space and political tolerance as mechanisms to drive the country's democratic dispensation.
That ultimately democracy lies not in the constitution, but in the hearts and minds of the people. And what David is talking about is we've been told how to be democratic. We've been told that it's backward to want to be monarchist or otherwise be loyal to your tribe or other, and so on and so forth. And you simply cannot do that. You cannot make people love what they don't love. You cannot make them hate what they love.
The panelists emphasized on the need to open up political dialogue as a mechanism to strengthen and promote national unity.
And in the context of how I look at it, the issue of national unity needs something. It's not something which you can take for granted. It's something which needs to be emphasized and worked upon, deliberate actions to make sure that we look at ourselves as Ugandans, not as components of Uganda, but as Uganda as a whole.
My late father was born in 1925. So Uganda's boundaries, just the other day, could put you in Kenya, or in Uganda, in Congo, or in Uganda, in South Sudan, or in Uganda, because somebody was randomly playing with a pen and things. I don't know. We really don't know how that thing worked.
Sra Mubale, UBC News, Kampala.
Now it's just a couple of days to Uganda's 60th independence anniversary. Tonight we look at the role played by the Chankwanzi-based National Leadership Institute, NALI. Take a look.
Kilometers from Kampala is this National Leadership Institute that has a long history of providing ideological direction to Ugandans, especially in this post-independence era. Started to coincide with the arrival of the national resistance movement, the institute has over the years been a center of excellence that has helped the country live politically, economically and socially.
Since this institute was started, the training has been going on. This year alone, we've not had an opportunity to even rest. Several government departments, ministries and agencies are sending people here, students, foreigners. Some time back we had the Sudanese here also training. So Ugandans are beginning to realize that there is utility in this institute. And for me, I would really wish many Ugandans to come here and see what we study here.
Chankwanzi as the National Leadership Institute. Chankwanzi as the National Leadership Institute is fondly known and is now officially home to patriotism classes that are available to several government agencies to propel proper governance.
If you have a contrary opinion on the kind of democracy, then come and present it and therefore improve what is here. So this is what we talk. That's what informs our ideology. Democracy, patriotism, Pan-Africanism. Look at Uganda. We are a landlocked country. Can Uganda survive without our neighbors? Oftentimes we have gone to support our neighbors because that one is in our tradition. When a neighbor's house catches fire, you don't sleep.
The lecturers here have enabled the nation make strides in various aspects, such as infrastructure development, democracy, and social transformation.
Our history has remained extant to transform this institute into a center of excellence. And you can see the state-of-the-art buildings that we have here, that were not initially here. Look at the magnificent administration block, the accommodation blocks, self-contained with hot water, the VIP houses renovated and refurbished, the second state-of-the-art auditorium being constructed. Officers' houses will be worked on this financial year.
The National Leadership Institute has over the years hosted millions of people, including Wananchi, who have been lectured by, among others, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. Patrick Mogera compiled this report.
The Secretary General of the Africa Continental Free Trade Area Secretariat, His Excellency Wamkele Mene, has promised to develop trade infrastructure for the African Continent Trade Fair. He says this will help ease trade among African countries, which is viewed as a barrier to Africa's development.
In 2019, Uganda became signatory to the African Continental Free Trade Area to enable trade among African countries. Although COVID-19 hit the African economic sector, the Secretary General of the African Continental Free Trade Area, Wamkele Mene, has pledged to develop infrastructure to make an economic recovery.
As infrastructure development, particularly trade supporting infrastructure. There are pockets of success which I think we must recognize. The trade corridors that have been established, they do the norm setting, the consultations across the continent about where standards should be. These are very important integrators of Africa's economy. More has to be done. They do the norm setting.
Wamkele also pledged to support Ugandan manufacturers and small and medium enterprises through financing.
If we don't solve the issue of trade finance, then the AfCFTA will not achieve its objectives. So we have to focus on that.
And then the biggest monster is the harmonization of standards. Because we are not going to trade with each other unless we have harmonized standards.
In the agreement in the AFCFTA, there is the annex on standards setting, which places an obligation on governments to set common standards and implement them.
The Executive Director of the Small and Medium Enterprises, John Walugembe, urged government to implement policies that favor women in small businesses.
Supporting government to better implement the policies that it has put in place for women entrepreneurship. Because what we have are very good policies that support women entrepreneurship that are not getting implemented.
We all must do more to ensure continued economic progress and well-being in general.
The event is happening during the 14th to the 16th of this month. So everyone, I'm speaking from the Umar Showgrounds, everyone at Umar Showgrounds, we expect them to carry their stalls here on the 10th and ferry them straight to the International University of East Africa.
Irene Faith Nantongo, Jovel Vubia, UBC News.
Uganda Broadcasting Corporation is set to deliver informative programming related to Parish Development Model, the new government strategy to deliver public and private interventions for wealth creation and economic transformation. Now, a team from the Parish Development Secretariat met with the management of Uganda Broadcasting Corporation and agreed on a number of areas regarding information dissemination on PDM.
Betaaga eddagala erinabajja mu bwavu, eddagala ery'enjawulo erisengeddwa bulungi, so that they can be able to also get out of poverty.
The parish development model is a strategy that has been adopted by government for service delivery with a target to improve incomes and overall welfare of people at household level.
This is still going on, and this will help to define and identify the households which are still poor.
It is now self-involving the public. The public is fully involved, right from the village to the parish, in selecting the projects that they want to undertake.
The parish development model is designed in line with the National Development Plan 3 that is also directed towards delivering the country into the middle income status.
The ready parishes, the ready districts are going to start receiving money. Yes, of course we're going now to send the 25 million shillings per quarter, and then send another 25 million, not shillings. Yeah, so the ready districts, the ready circles are going to receive the money.
A team from Parish Development Secretariat led by the Deputy National Development Model Coordinator, Jovrin Kalisa, met with the management of Uganda Broadcasting Corporation and agreed on a number of areas.
It is important that as we walk the journey of getting Ugandans, the 39% of Ugandans who are still in subsistence economy, we get to work together with media houses and see how to take the message down to our brothers and sisters, a message of hope, a message of actually giving them the vision of the president on how parish development model is going to be implemented.
The public should expect all the information regarding the funds of PDM, how much has been disbursed, how much is being used here and there, and then what is the money being used for across the country and in 29 languages and all the TV stations of the country, of UBC.
The Managing Director, Uganda Broadcasting Corporation, Winston Agaba, pledged his institution's support to disseminate timely information to the public regarding the parish development model.
For us, we are looking at, as UBC Media House, both radio and TV with the 11 FM stations and the TV channels. Our main TV channels being UBC TV and Star TV, the Uganda station. We shall feed into all the radio stations.
The parish development model has 7 pillars that will be delivered using a multi-secretarial approach to ensure that all Ugandans get out of poverty and join the money economy.
Now we are officially beginning today. We are going to be working very closely with the PDM Secretariat officials. We're going to be working with the Ministry of Local Government so that we are able to get the right information, because the challenge has been you might distribute or disseminate wrong information which is not correct. So from today, we are going to be working very closely with the Secretariat to get the correct information, and we disseminate it in all our radio stations and TV channels of the Uganda Broadcasting Corporation.
Joseph Oko, Adiana Kuti, UBC.
Now, foreign students in Uganda have been urged to acquire student passes as required by law to avoid inconveniences that come with not having one. This was highlighted at the stakeholders meeting on facilitation of foreign students by the Secretariat of Citizenship and Immigration Control.
The Ministry of Internal Affairs, through the Directorate of Citizenship and Immigration Control, has appealed to learning institutions to avail student passes to foreign students that do not have them as an immigration entry facility provided under Section 53 Cap 66.
To institutions with foreign national students without student passes, they should really send them to immigration so that they can acquire the student pass, so that they can regularize their study, or even those who are working, they can regularize they are working in Uganda and they will have no issues.
According to the Commissioner Immigration Control, Colonel Geoffrey Kambere, enforcement operations will be held and failure to follow the set procedures will attract a penalty.
Of course, our enforcement team from the Legal and Inspection Department are ready to go to inspect these schools. And in case they find that students are learning without these requirements, it is really, they will be prosecuted.
Findings from the National Council of Higher Education indicate that since the outbreak of COVID-19 pandemic, variations in foreign student numbers in Uganda have been witnessed. Online registration has been touted as one of the mechanisms to increase the number of foreign students in the country.
By 2020, we had about 20,000, actually about 19, who crossed the borders from the country, from the East African community, from West Africa, from Europe, to come and study here in Uganda. As the COVID pandemic, actually in the Uganda scene, it made a drop of about 1.7% of the drop. We raise with the migration so that the people who come to register as for legal stay, they are destined to accredited and also licensed institutions of education.
The Dean of Students, YMCA Comprehensive Institute, James Kizito, embraces the move and explains how foreign students should be helped by their own institutions.
Our students really need to be helped. The international students come to the country when they don't know much, but the streamlining that the Ministry of Internal Affairs has made is really helping them. Many have actually feared to come out and they're in hiding. For us, we have a specific department which handles international students, and indeed we apply for them, we guide them through all the documents required, we put them together. The system has become digitalized. They don't have to go to immigration.
Joshua Kagoro, UBC News.
Thank you, Joshua Kagoro. Now, State Minister for Primary Education, Joyce Marichu Kaduchu, has advised teachers to embrace government programs as a vehicle to their economic transformation. This was at the Teachers' Day celebrations organized by Raising Voices, a non-governmental organization championing advocacy for better learning environments across the country.
In a bid to recognize the role teachers play in societies, Raising Voices, a non-government organization supplementing government's effort to ensure violence-free learning environments across the country, has celebrated belated Teachers' Day. The selected few were picked from over 1,000 schools partnering with Raising Voices to spread the gospel of good schools in the 28 districts across the country.
We have currently worked in 100 secondary schools, and the rest of the 1,010 schools are primary schools. We've also handed out a version of the toolkit, which is in almost 5,000 schools, and we plan to really harness that impact. And people use the toolkit to not only prevent violence, which has been proven to do, but as another thing that comes after that is build confidence and the ability of the children.
These were also credited for reducing on school dropout rates through employment of their high-end friendly teaching skills.
We no longer use corporal punishments, those hard punishments that cause pain to learners, make them worried of classes.
We thought that it was only beating that we can use to solve all issues of indiscipline, but the toolkit has provided alternatives like writing apologies, like commitment letters.
May I thank the Raising Voices for partnering with the Ministry of Education and the support that you have accorded us.
Presiding over the celebrations was the State Minister for Primary Education, Dr. Joyce Moriko Kaduchu.
The government of Uganda is keen to support children to study in free violence school environment. This is one of the reasons why Uganda was selected as a pathfinder.
Minister Kaduchu says this opportunity to empower teachers to embrace government programs, especially those targeting poverty alleviation for individual economic transformation, saying no one should rely on one source of income.
These are not adequate. That's why the government is increasing in a phased manner, step by step. But in the meantime, you and me knows very well, besides salary, we can use our creativity, we can do other things to bring wealth into our family.
In 2016, the Children Act was amended with the insertion of a new Article 101A that states a person of authority in institutions of learning shall not subject a child to any form of corporal punishment. Mary Namkose, UBC News.
It, pack it, share it. The 4G WakaNet MiFi. Pocket it, use it, enjoy it. Visit any MTN service center or Banana Phone World outlets. Get it at 75K. The MTN 4G Pocket MiFi is it.
My name is Charles Peter Maiga, the Katikiro of Buganda. It's very important to groom and nurture children into responsible citizens. But that doesn't mean that we got to beat them up, got to hurt them. I think we need to groom our children into people who have self-worth. That will enable us to have citizens who will be responsible and who will also look at violence with disdain.
Because a violence-free childhood is everyone's right. Raising Voices.
It's Freaky Friday from Airtel. Buy or gift. Buy or give.
Get freaky too! Dial *149*10# to load a Freaky Friday bundle for you to enjoy the best offers on voice and data.
To buy a bundle for friends and family, dial *149*10*5#. Freaky Friday with Airtel. Buy or gift a bundle today. Dial *149*10# to get started. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Our wetlands are being lost at a very alarming rate. Wetlands have become the most threatened ecosystem 3 times faster than the forest. With 35% loss globally since 1970, a quarter of wetland-dependent species are near extinction. This is a very serious loss to our economy and natural resource-based country. The government of Uganda is determined to reverse this trend. Therefore, my ministry calls upon fellow Ugandans to contribute to the conservation and sustainable use of the limited resources. Ugandans, stop cultivating, putting up buildings, and dumping in the wetlands.
This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Water and Environment, Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries, Uganda National Meteorological Authority, with support from Government of Uganda, Green Climate Fund, and the United Nations Development Programme.
October Bidel Musaba Gardens Mukono, October Mukaga Millennium Gardens Saziwaya, October Munanaji Montelembara, 10 October, 40 Poto Muchisawe, Abidim B October, Bale Sports Center, Umtualcomo, Yebem Tuale Santo, a meza million yemo, Wababa Tualcomia, Abana tickets of Cosa M10 Momo, Banjagusa Sulan Comitano, Binamina Romo Center, Hiva Motors, Galaxy FM, Radio 4, Kawila War, TN. What's up, Fulu Balamo?
Welcome back from that break, and we're glad that you're still with us. I'm Lorraine Masika Kazimoto, and my colleague Muhammad Mugalu on sign language interpretation here to bring you tonight's news bulletin. Now, as Uganda celebrates her 60th Independence Golden Jubilee, the Karamoja want education to be made free, compulsory and forceful to enable all Karamoja children go to school. Now, in our special edition about Uganda at 60, we look at the education sector in Karamoja sub-region, where elders buried a book and pen in 1939 to stop colonialists from forcing their children to go to school. But rituals were performed in 1995 to unearth the book and pen, which later gave birth to alternative education for Karamoja, ABEC, which has increased school enrollment. Take a look.
Karamoja sub-region is in the northeastern part of Uganda, bordering Kenya, South Sudan, Acholi, Teso, Sebei, and Bugisu sub-regions. It is occupied by Karamojongs and Pokots, who are semi-nomadic and normally move according to water and pasture availability. In the 1960s, Karamoja sub-region had 8 primary schools, and Moroto High School was the first official secondary school to start in 1965. The Catholics, Anglicans and the government have over the years played a greater role in Karamoja education sector.
That the first school was in Lotome by the church missionaries of the Anglican, and later the other one was introduced in Kangole.
Official secondary school started in 1965 and was only one.
Despite the efforts to embrace education in Karamoja sub-region, a section of Karamojongs remained resistant to the colonial rule,
denouncing any white influence. And they buried it at a place called Namegio. Namegio is east of Kotilo Municipality, Central Division.
A stop, a stumbling block. There was a kind of a curse that whoever will go to school will come dead.
Some elders believe that colonialists used the pen to torture locals, while others were conscripted into the King's African Rifles Army to fight in the Second World War.
Because they saw a pen and a book was used for registering these sons of theirs to join World War, to go and fight for the British during World War II.
Speaking in an interview, elders never wanted their children to go to school. They preferred having them home and look after their herds of cattle in the case of boys, while the girls attracted wealth to their parents through dowry when they get married.
The boys also would finally become raiders and cattle rustlers who would add animals to the family
Whereas illiteracy levels were high, some lucky Karamojongs who went against the cultural norms and embraced education explain how they made it.
In 1969, against the will of my parents, because they looked at education as a foreigner thing.
At a small age, I think I should have been like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 is when I should have, or 11, when I went to school, by luck.
November 1995, Red Banner, Now Save the Children, sponsored rituals where elders unearthed the pen and book as a way of allowing Karamojong children to go to school.
Beginning of the Second World War. Huh? So, can you imagine, can that pen and book survive? Huh? So, but they did a ceremony. We did a ceremony symbolizing the unearthing of the pen and the book. And then we open it up now. We told those of us who are already going to school, we said now you can take the children to school.
Still, there are dissenting voices in Karamoja, with some parents still opposed to taking their children at school.
These children spend 8 hours in class, from morning, evening. They are not even helping us at all.
Consultation between Ministry of Education, parents, leaders and funding partner Save the Children, Alternative Education for Karamoja, was designed.
We want a system where our children are taught for 1 or 2 hours. After teaching, they go for the domestic work. And we said, fine. Now when we presented the curriculum before them, they said, no. This curriculum cannot work without livestock education.
Learning centers were identified near kraals and non-formal education teachers were recruited.
Parents also, that negative thinking became positive.
The introduction of Uganda Universal Primary Education for all school-going children in 1997 and the Universal Secondary School in 2007 has increased enrollment in schools.
You can close their eyes, even money for one financial year, half of it sent to Karamoja, and put all these kids in boarding schools.
All children of school-going age should be forced to go to school.
The Bishop of Mityana Anglican Diocese, Dr. James Bukomeko, has commended the Ministry of Education and Sports for working together with the Church of Uganda to improve the standards of schools, especially traditional schools established on religious foundation. We have more in this following report.
Mityana Secondary School in Mityana Municipality is among the traditional schools across the country established by the Church of Uganda. The school, established in 1913, is government-aided, and the current NRM government has constructed several buildings, including the laboratory. However, there is need for more buildings and renovation of some of the existing structures. The Bishop of Mityana Anglican Diocese, the Chairman, PTA Mityana SS, Dr. James Bukomeko, commended government for partnering with the Church of Uganda to improve the quality of education. However, he calls for government support, especially in roofing and renovation of the school.
It was called the University of Mubende because that was Greater Mubende that time, and many people have passed through this school. We need to renovate the buildings. Want to thank the government for the great work and also the support they have given this school.
The bishop was on a pastoral visit to Mityana SS, where he confirmed over 100 students and also blessed Senior 4 and Senior 6 candidates who will be sitting for their final examinations this year. The headmaster, Samin Sereko, commends the Ministry of Education and Sports for supporting the school with science equipment and buildings.
We hand in roofing the school, making general renovations and the general development of the school, because it is a school that has served the country for long, and therefore its renovation and general rehabilitation is very important.
Sudat Kaye, Fred Kasvante, UBC News.
Entrepreneurs have been urged to embrace government programs as they invest in different enterprises. This was communicated at the second Social Entrepreneurial Symposium held in Entebbe under the theme Social Entrepreneurship as a Core to Building Sustainable Enterprises in Uganda.
With the aim of boosting the country's economy after the effects of COVID-19 pandemic, entrepreneurs under their umbrella Capital Solutions have held the second annual Social Entrepreneur Forum to share business ideas. This conference held in Entebbe involved training and an exhibition of products done by different entrepreneurs.
Social mindset. I mean, what you're doing is you look into problems in your community, which can be social problems, it can also be environmental problems, just problems that you identify around you, and then trying to come up with solutions, innovative solutions to address those. So certainly having a mindset of wanting to solve problems in your community and in your society.
In the past 8 years, Capital Solutions has managed to extend training to over 300 entrepreneurs across the country, as Joyce Tamale explains.
We have helped them, most importantly, to access finance so that they are able to scale their businesses. You don't actually have to have a lot of money. You start from what you have from within, give it out, interest other people. Before you know it, you've scaled. Said anybody, as long as you are passionate, you can start a social enterprise. Why? Social enterprises are scalable, they are sustainable because they are solving community problems.
During the symposium, mindset change was among the key issues tackled by different speakers to entrepreneurs.
You must start an organization after you have confirmed that the society has a problem. Usually, when you identify a problem that is really disturbing the community, you can design an idea, a product or a service that people are willing to pay for.
Alfred, the Undersecretary of the Ministry of Trade, Industry and Cooperative, urged the entrepreneurs to engage in government programs in order to transform their lives.
To people who are doing similar businesses, we have the tailors, we have the hairdressers, we have border groups. They can as well take advantage of those and benefit, so that people should be able to get into businesses and develop themselves and get wealth from the funds that government gives to the parishes.
Uganda is among the developing countries where people, especially the youth, have embraced being job creators. However, 80% of these businesses do not celebrate their birthday.
So marketing has also been another issue. Going beyond the grid, the communities, the distances, the remoteness of these areas, infrastructure is not really there, so it's difficult to penetrate.
The symposium was held under the theme Social Entrepreneurship as a Core to Building Sustainable Enterprises in Uganda. Robert Katamba and Susan Nabogude reporting for UBC News.
Uganda's agriculture sector is even older, having been here even before independence. And for this case, a lot has changed over the years. In this interview with one renowned agriculturalist, Professor Asani Ramiheto, who has served the sector for close to 40 years, says that even during the dark days of brutal regimes, agriculture still remained one of the most cherished fields. Onyango Robert with more.
I did Cambridge in September 1962, and we got independence in October.
Professor Sen Remiheto Semana is a seasoned agriculturalist and administrator who started his career shortly after Uganda got its independence in 1965.
I did agriculture at Bucharest Agricultural College, where I got a certificate in 1964.
As we continue with our insights about Uganda's 60 years independence journey, he is one person we caught up with.
We can celebrate, but with some agony. That there are things which are not going well. As far as I know, agriculture is not doing well at all.
Asen was among the first agriculturalists to start the District Farm Institute at Kachwekano in 1965 after graduating with a certificate in agriculture in 1964.
When I was an assistant agriculture officer in Rwenzori region, is the establishment of Mubuku irrigation scheme and also what we call a group farm, where I started with one farmer, but I left that place when we had 15 farmers who were permanently there.
On and off for different assignments, there is no doubt he still stands as one of the sector's resourceful person.
Then in 1980, I was selected to go to start the Pan-African Institute for Development, East and Southern Africa, based in Zambia. And I went there to teach agricultural extension education.
With his vast experience in the agriculture sector, this is a field he has lived to cherish.
I was actually posted to what used to be Ankole district, and I introduced the growing of bananas. And now Ankole is actually the most productive region of Uganda growing bananas.
It is from his services he used to offer through Radio Uganda that the then President Idi Amin Dada sought for his expertise.
And when I was transferred to Entebbe, that's when I started Radio Uganda, reaching farmers through the radio. And I remember when I was doing that, the then President Idi Amin actually asked me to go and teach farmers in Karamoja on the growing of cassava. And I was in Karamoja for 3 months, teaching them how to grow cassava. In fact, the one incident which I like most is that when he came there and I was addressing the farmers, is that he found them naked, the men. And he gave them 2 weeks to dress up. And they did dress up when I was there.
As NRM took over power, Rem Heto was then recalled back for service and posted back to Radio Uganda and Makerere University.
When I came back, I was given the job again to teach farmers through radio, what you call radio programs.
His tireless innovations and knowledge has to a certain extent seen him inherit the name Father of the Agricultural Extension Workers.
And in Entebbe, I worked as an agriculture officer responsible for agriculture information. And I started a program called Calling Farmers. I don't know if it is still there, Calling Farmers. And that we were getting messages from farmers and releasing the messages to teach other farmers.
60 years since our independence, Professor Sen hopes that the agriculture sector now needs to be bailed out to secure the future.
It has deteriorated and we need to improve. And we can improve by industrializing it so that we are able to get foreign exchange, to increase our income, and to increase job opportunities for the younger ones so that they don't wait around.
In 2005, Professor Semana left Makerere University to establish Mountains of Demoni University in Fort Portal, together with a big dream. Having retired from active services in 2015, Professor Emeritus is not convinced about the sector's future trajectory.
I wouldn't call it agriculture today, and I'm annoyed with it.
60 years down the road, the agriculture sector remains one of the main backbone of Uganda's economy.
The head of Ahmadiyya Muslim community, the fifth Caliph, His Holiness Hazrat Mizra Masroor Ahmed, has commemorated the opening of the Fatih Azim Mosque in Zion, USA. Now, the reception was attended by more than 100 guests, including politicians, faith leaders, and local residents.
The objective of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community is not to conquer lands, seize territories, or overcome cities, but to win with the hearts of mankind through love and bring people closer to the Almighty. This follows the opening of the Fatih Azim Mosque in the United States, which is seen as a defender of all faith.
Pray that this mosque will, God willing, always serve as a beacon of peace, tolerance, and love for all mankind, I pray it proves to be a place where people congregate in all humility to recognize their Creator, to bow before Him, and to fulfill the rights of mankind. For we earnestly believe that we can only be successful.
Hazrat emphasized establishing a world peace and religious freedom as mentioned in the Holy Quran.
We can only be successful and prosperous if we fulfill the rights of worship of God Almighty and the rights of humanity.
To meet His Holiness tonight, and this is the first time in my life that I've met someone that I was speechless and didn't know what to say.
To be able to meet His Holiness, you know, we're so honored that he was able to come here, and just this mosque is a beacon of hope and friendship.
Zion is a symbol of true religious freedom, with doors open to enlighten the message of the prophets. Hazran prayed that the mosque serves as a beacon of peace, tolerance, and love for all mankind. Sudat Kaye, UBC News.
Now UBC News takes a short break, but we'll return with business stories after this.
The Ministry of Health informs the public that there are confirmed cases of Ebola in Uganda. We, however, urge the public not to panic as the situation is being managed. The Ministry of Health further reminds the public to be on the lookout for any persons who may show signs and symptoms of Ebola. These include high body temperature, abdominal pains, diarrhea, vomiting, bleeding from the body openings such as the nose, eyes, and mouth. Please inform the nearest health worker immediately if you see anyone with these signs and symptoms. To prevent Ebola from spreading further, please take the following preventive measures: regular washing of hands with water and soap, avoid handshaking and hugging, avoiding any contact with any suspected Ebola patients. Any person who dies suddenly should not be buried but reported to the nearest health worker or LC1 immediately. For further information, please call the Ministry of Health toll-free number on 0800-100-066 or send a free SMS to your report on 8500. This message is from the Ministry of Health with support from UNICEF and World Health Organization.
Gukomyewo! Oluvannyuma lw'emyaka ebiri, omwoleso gw'abannamakolero mu Uganda gukomyewo! Ekitongole omwegattira bannamakolero kya UMA bakwaniriza mwoleso gwabwe ogw'omulundi ogwa28 okuva nga 3 ogw'ekkumi okutuuka nga 10 ogw'ekkumi. Jangu olaba aboolesa abasukka mu 1,000 n'abasuubuzi mu buli bizinensi ku kibangirizi kya bannamakolero e Lugogo okuyingira omutwalo gumu gwokka. Wabula jjukira nti waliwo bannamakolero abajja okusala ku bintu byabwe ebitundu 5 ku 1,000. Jangu weerabire ku bayimbi ab'enjawulo n'abasanyusa nga tujjaguza nnyaffe Uganda okuweza emyaka 6 ekyameefuga. Okufuna ekifo okuba ku nnamba eno noti 7 noti 3 552 444.
Uganda is born again, free and independent.
Forget last season. Forget the oohs and the ahs. Forget every moment that stole the show, because the real show is here on GoTV. It's the new season. It's action-packed, and it's going to be non-stop football. With over 1,000 games from more than 7 leagues and cup competitions, plus a World Cup. Make sure you get the best seat in the house this new football season. Get a GoCoder with 1 month of GoTV value for only 25,000 Uganda shillings and enjoy non-stop football. GoTV Uganda. Love it.
It's Freaky Friday from Airtel. Buy or gift
gift. Buy or give.
Get freaky too! Dial star 149 star 10 hash to load a Freaky Friday bundle for you to enjoy the best offers on voice and data.
To buy a bundle for friends and family, dial star 149 star 10 star 5 hash. Freaky Friday with Airtel. Buy or gift a bundle today. Dial star 149 star 10 hash to get started. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Welcome back from that break, and now into the business scene. At the Monetary Policy Committee meeting held on the 6th of October 2022, Bank of Uganda increased the central bank rate by 1% to 10%. According to the central bank, a combination of global factors, the recent drought and the weaker shilling to US dollar exchange rate has given a drive to the inflation to the highest level recorded since 2012 and deteriorated the inflation outlook. The annual headline inflation rose to 10% in September 2022 from 9% in August 2022.
A combination of global factors, the recent drought and the weaker shilling to US dollar exchange rate have driven inflation to the highest level recorded since 2012 and deteriorated the inflation outlook. The annual headline inflation rose to 10% in September 2022 from 9% in August 2022. Annual core inflation, which excludes volatile food and energy prices, rose to 8.1% in September 2022, up from 7.2% in August 2022. Annual electricity, fuel, and utilities inflation, which had been increasing since the beginning of the year, declined to 18.7% in September 2022 from 19.6% in August 2022, offering some relief against the price pressures.
Now, with a commitment to offer an unmatched customer experience, I&M Bank Uganda joined the rest of the world to celebrate this year's Customer Service Week 2022. The Customer Service Week is an international week-long event celebrated annually during the first week of October, when customer-oriented organizations and institutions around the world recognize the importance of customer service excellence. As a way of giving back to society through a number of corporate social activities in all its branches across the country, I&M Bank conducted a blood donation drive at all its offices.
The reason why entities exist is because they want to serve their customers. And as a bank, our brand promise is we are on your side. So we are on the side of the customer, we are on the side of all our stakeholders. So we are using this week to ensure and emphasize the need of customer service, the importance of our customers, and making sure that we can serve them well today and going forward. We don't only celebrate our customers in this week only, but we do this every day, every now and again, 24/7, 365 days in a year.
As I&M Bank Uganda, we are deeply humbled and honored to be part of this drive. A few months ago, there was a call rallying Ugandans to donate blood, because as we all know, every second, every minute, every hour, there's someone who is in need of blood. So you could be saving someone's life by you donating a pint of blood.
For this particular week, we have also considered our external stakeholders, like the communities within which we operate. One of the things that we found very important for us is the need for donation of blood. As you're all aware, there is no single company that manufactures blood, and yet blood is very, very key for our well-being and for our lives. So as part of the Customer Service Week, we've also organized a blood donation where we hope, and we've encouraged our customers and our staff to come and join us and ensure that we can donate blood that we can pass on to the blood bank to ensure that we can save lives of Ugandans in the future.
Our brand promise to our customers is A&M Bank is on your side. So there is no better way that we can be on a customer's side other than donating blood to save lives of customers, Ugandans.
As part of our drive to donate blood, we have a target of just over 100. And as we speak, we have so far done just over 50. And we're encouraging all our customers, all our staff to come in and support the communities within which we operate.
And with that, UBC News Tonight comes to an end. Thank you so much for your company. I'm Lorraine Masika Kazimoto and Muhammad Mugalu in sign language interpretation. We leave you with Kutesa Mili with tomorrow's weather forecast. Mili, over to you.
Thanks for tuning on UBC. My name is Kutesa Mili with your weather update. We are having thunder showers dominating most parts of the country. And seeing the satellite picture, we're having a rainbow diffused in the central part of Africa, including our country, Uganda, in combination with most winds are blowing from Congo, Yamas, and Indian Ocean, connecting within our country, bringing us the rainfall that we are having later. Tomorrow morning, though, we expect to wake up with light thunder showers in the central part of our country, including our capital city, Kampala, and then light showers are expected in the western part of our region, Kasese and Barara, sunny intervals across Masindi and Kawal. In the eastern part of our country, we are seeing thunder showers dominating most parts of it, apart from Salt. We are seeing sunny intervals dominate most parts of the northern part of our country. In the lunch hours, we are having a pickup of light showers across the central part of our country. This will continue even in the western part of our country and the eastern part of our country at a maximum 30 degrees Celsius and 29 other places. The northern part of our country will have a maximum of 30 degrees Celsius with light showers. It's moving out of Uganda to around a few cities across the globe. In the neighborhood of Nairobi, we are seeing cloudy conditions at maximum 26 degrees Celsius. London with 15 degrees Celsius with sunny intervals, and Cairo at maximum 29 degrees Celsius. Washington, D.C. with sunny intervals at a maximum 17 degrees Celsius. Thanks for tuning on UBC. My name is Kutesa Mili. Stay tuned and see you tomorrow.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
It's Freaky Friday from Airtel. Buy or gift. Buy or give.
Get freaky too! Dial *149